begin with news just in. Sipho Maseko will be stepping down as CEO of telecommunications group Telkom after 9 years in the job. His departure is scheduled for June 30th of next year. Maseko joined Telkom on the 1st of April of 2013 and credited with turning the company's fortunes around. The group's share price has more than tripled under his watch. The restructuring and streamlining of the organization all took place while he was at the helm. The group says the process to appoint a successor is well underway, with a group CEO designate to be announced soon. Let's continue to bring you more of what's happening in the world of business. The local index will be contending with the mostly weaker Asian markets this morning, with sentiment under pressure following concerns of further regulatory moves from China against tech firms with foreign operations. Global markets have been recovering this week from a sharp sell-off on Monday, sparked by concerns that the Delta variant of the coronavirus will delay economic recovery. For a sense of how the markets are performing in early trade, we're now joined by Karl Gevers, a portfolio manager at Benguela Global Fund Managers. Karl, a very good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. How have the markets opened this morning after the JSE closed firmer and mixed global markets?
Yeah, good morning. The local market actually has opened stronger this morning, so continuing its positive momentum from yesterday, up currently about 0.7%, all share that is, mainly driven by the resource sector that's benefiting from the weaker rand. The rand weakening currently at 14 rand 75. The main reason there is yesterday's interest rate decision to keep interest rates flat by the South African Reserve Bank, and that obviously then makes it slightly less attractive for foreign investors. But yeah, I think overall a strong day, and international markets, especially the US, have been quite strong on the back of strong earnings for the second quarter. So I think overall quite positive sentiment in the markets.
And gold looks to be heading for a weekly fall. Take us through some of the elements driving this move.
Yeah, so gold is mainly driven generally by uncertainty. So it's one of those uncertainty hedges. When markets get volatile, gold benefits because it's a safe haven asset. And we've seen, as I mentioned, the US earnings being quite positive. So we've had some positive earnings surprises there. Market volatility has reduced, so all of that weighing down on the gold attractiveness of gold. So the gold price falling in the last week from the $1,900 levels to currently just over $1,800.
And in news just in, we've just learned that Sipho Maseko is said to be stepping down as Telkom CEO, essentially an end of an era. Take us through his tenure and what Telkom has managed to achieve with him at the helm.
Yeah, I mean, he's done a fantastic job at Telkom. I mean, taking it from a archaic fixed line operator to actually quite a competitive player in the market currently, with a strong mobile offering, as well as on the data and the fiber side of things. So I think and then of course just streamlining productivity, cutting costs, and making it competitive. So I think certainly his departure would be seen as negative. I mean, it's given a good year for that transition to happen, because he's stepping down in end of June next year. But certainly for for investors, I think it'll be difficult to find a replacement that of his caliber. So I think certainly a negative, and we've seen the share price react slightly negative, down 1.5% this morning.
And Vodacom Group has posted its trading update for the quarter ending 30 June 2021. Let's give us some insight on these numbers.
Yeah, I think the main impact on the second quarter numbers for Vodacom has been the stronger rand, and that's impacting the international operations. So the rand actually strengthening to the end of June for their operations by about 20%. So quite a big impact there. In terms of I think one of the main areas to look at is the financial services area, and that's actually grown as a group level by 17.9%, which is quite strong. Locally in South Africa, service revenue up 5.2%, and international, driven also by the stickiness of their M-Pesa product, up 13.5%. So I think overall not a bad result. Currency impacting it negatively, but the market should be reasonably happy with that.
Let's go to the international now. Uber is set to acquire Transplace, a logistics company owned by TPG Capital, for 33.1 billion rand. This is quite a sizable bet on the trucking business. Take us through the specs of this acquisition.
Yeah, so Uber, obviously everyone knows what their main business is. Basically, Uber Eats, and you've got Uber the taxi type business. But then there's Uber Freight, which acts as a middleman in a pretty fragmented, long-haul trucking industry, especially in the US, and connecting the different service providers and the clients. So what this acquisition does is it does accelerate their ambitions within Uber Freight, and essentially what Transplace does, it works with shipping brokers and carriers, managing the supply chain and planning of logistics. So certainly, I think in terms of profitability, it will accelerate that for Uber, and growing that division. So I think it's quite a positive acquisition for Uber.